Alright, so hello everyone. This is going to be a short talk over of what I think so far in Star Wars Battlefront Beta. Now, no doubt by now you've probably seen one or two of my episodes. So, moved on to Walker Assault. Actually, the previous episode I did got kind of corrupted near the end. It had to be cut off. And I figured that I would just record a brand new episode here and just play some stuff in the background, do some post-commentary on it. Just to basically show how it's going, what I think so far, and going into this beta right about now. Like I stated that maybe my opinions would change, and they kind of have. Walker Assault is by far the best thing about this game because it feels the most like the original Battlefront games. The main point of this game mode being that you actually have to take down AT-ATs as they're going up to the shield generators, just like they did in the movie, and also just like they did in Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Of course, by now, like a lot of people who played the beta realize that you can't actually drive the AT-ATs. You can get a map pickup though that will allow you to commandeer the cannon, shall we say. The Walker itself is still on course towards the shield generator, and there's unfortunately nothing you can really do about it. But at least you can quasi-take control of it. And I also have to mention again that the sound design in this game is very, very good, because I have to give credit for the game. It doesn't sound like I'm just baselessly bashing this game. I like it. I do. It just doesn't feel 100% like Star Wars Battlefront. I also like the little touches here, like when you're looking at the snow and all that, it glitters, all the snowflakes and all the ice crystals. It's a nice little touch that maybe you don't really notice a whole lot in gameplay, but you tend to notice it a whole lot in post-commentary when you're looking around. I did manage to get into some vehicles this time around as well, to fly. That's something I really wanted to do originally, but I wasn't able to do, and I didn't feel like recording another episode and sticking it on top of that one. So this was a pretty good compromise. I did get to fly some of the aerial vehicles, and I think it was mostly A-Wings, and I think I got snow speeders by the end, and I'm actually surprised, of course, by the control. I would say for the vehicles isn't too bad, but the targeting itself is a little bit jittery, to say the least. And I think that is supposed to add a little bit of tension to the fights, especially when you're dogging someone and you're trying to gun them down, and you basically have to try to fight them all the way. Like if there's an agile fighter, you have to basically not only outturn them, but keep a much more steadier hand. And that kind of makes getting the kills a little bit more satisfying, more rewarding, I guess I want to say. And if you're on the side of the rebels, it makes things a little bit more interesting because you also have to provide an offensive role. I mean, clearing the sky of TIE fighters and TIE interceptors is important because you are basically the tipping point. Aerial vehicles and establishing air superiority is one of the defining factors of whether or not you can actually take down the AT-ATs. Some people said that the Empire has a pretty big advantage in this game type, given the fact of how difficult it is to win as rebels, because you have the AT-ATs, which are pretty much death machines that can destroy an entire group. I mean, if you have some pretty good aim, and if your enemy gathers together, just sticks together. And granted, yeah, I've won plenty of times using the AT-ATs, mostly as a defensive role. I gotta say right away that I have never actually picked up a power-up that lets me be the gunner. It was mostly just the other vehicles in the map. I've piloted some AT-STs. I still gotta get the controls down for that, but I remember on the Imperial side, I played a couple more games after I recorded this. I played with the TIE Fighter, and I was able to score some kills, but I was also playing as the TIE Interceptor, which is a lot better. I mean, I feel that the Interceptor class craft really excel more at taking down other fighter craft. I mean, they're interceptors. That's what they're designed for, to overtake, intercept, and destroy enemy aircraft. I mean, I find most of my worries sort of going away, especially in my research. I figured out that the supremacy mode in the game is supposed to be a lot more like the traditional conquest mode. So that puts some of my fears at rest. I mean, I did guess that's what that mode was at the very beginning of the game. In my very first episode, I gathered what the other game modes were about. It sort of alleviates things a little bit more. And after this, I went back and played Battlefront 2. And playing the Conquest mode really makes me wish like they just went with that for this game. A beta. It's not really a beta at this point. It's more a demo, since we're so close to release. And really, betas are essentially demos, but they just say that because it makes it feel like we're that much more important to the creation process. And, well, of course, that's not a bad thing. Of course, it makes me feel important. I've been part of actual beta tests before, and actual beta tests have way more errors than what we usually see. This is very stable. I remember when I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I was actually part of the Old Republic beta, and that had quite a whole... Well, I mean, that game itself was questionable in its earliest states, but I was a part of the beta test. I actually had to do... Oh, I mean, the NDA is long over. I had to do constant reports on bugs and whatnot. I had to be very active. I mean, I was given an opportunity to play the game. I had to report on technical aspects. I mean, story, it wasn't really story I was worried about. And even though I don't think I ever actually completed one of those things. Isn't that sad? I mean, I guess I wasn't up to, you know, paying $15 a month at that time to continue to play. I mean, it's free to play now, so I don't really see why I can't jump into it. Anyways, this is where I get into the A-Wing right now. This is where... Did I get into it? No, I didn't pick it up. But this is where the battle really starts to turn. And this is what I was talking about, how having effective pilots can really make or break the battle. You just go on in, and I've learned to take advantage of those little loading times of getting into the actual battlefield, because while you're doing that, you can't steer. That may be a problem, given the fact that I was able to flank enemy aircraft coming into the field of battle and taking them out while they were essentially helpless, or were pretty much not able to be stopped. I mean, when I'm flying around here, you can see that I'm, of course, trying to get an attack on the AT-ATs, but I can't because they're invulnerable in this part. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to flank right up around this TIE fighter right here, lock onto him, and take him out so easily. Right when he's being given control, I knock him out of the sky. That's a little bit not good. I actually got that guy again. I don't know how I got him. I guess I just got lucky. But like I was saying, though, that period of where you have no involvement as a pilot needs to be changed. It really does, because it's not fair as a pilot. I mean, that you want to go found your pickup. You really should be given your vehicles like actually on the map and all that, but that's a moot point. There's no point in complaining about that. There's nothing that can be done at this point. So just accept it and move on. So I need to try to at least give an idea of how to make it a little bit better. I mean, like, yeah, my vote counts for a whole lot at this point. You're really the tipping point in the election here, but that I can at least try. Anyways, allow players to get control of their craft when they spawn in. That way, they're not going to be swamped by a pilot like one of these flying one of the A-Wings here. That way, you stand some chance of survival. Otherwise, I really love being a pilot. I mean, aside from I think the controls were sort of made this way on purpose to make sure, of course, you give the other player a chance, and that you ensure that the attacking pilot doesn't get a free and easy kill, you know, like I was able to actually get. I was actually interested to see that some of the A-Wings themselves, not the A-Wings, the Snowspeeders themselves, are actually relatively hard to hit. In one of the other matches I played as the TIE Fighter, I think the Snowspeeder has an ability to disappear from radar. I flew the Snowspeeder before, but I wasn't able to understand. I didn't understand right away the mechanics behind the tow cable. That there's a specific time you have to activate it. I couldn't find it, but We'll have to see. Look, I'm just going to flank this other guy here, get behind him, and take him down. He didn't have a chance. That's what I'm talking about. And at this point, we've established air superiority. There's really nothing much we can do. I didn't even notice that. The cargo craft coming down over there. I don't think that has any bearing on the game at all, though. Oh, well, anyway. But yeah, air superiority is everything. Establish yourself as the dominant battle force here, and you can essentially win the game. We have 4 Y-Wings on approach that will take down the shields, and I got some rubber banding issues. That might have been on my end. I mean, I have siblings that have access to the internet. It's really going to come back to get me eventually. And look at all this wasted space. I was really hoping that we would use a little bit more of this giant spacious battlefield, or at least populate it with some guys down here. I mean, there's a whole planet of cold and ice and snow, and maybe we could try to utilize a little bit of it, at least give the impression that there's actually a battle going on here. We have so many ships in the sky right now, but really, we're not using anything. I don't feel that what we're doing here is actually all that important. It just feels like a little skirmish. Like the actual battle's out of the way over there, and this is just like something else. Okay, we got one AT-AT. That's good news. We actually have a good chance here to win the match as the Rebels. That's something you don't see all that often, and I'm doing my part. I'm actually firing on the AT-ATs. And my missiles, I think I tried to do a salvo here, but no, I did that earlier, but it didn't really do all that well. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit down to the wire. We have one more checkpoint to go. It's not going to be easy to do this. I'm going to see if I can get this interceptor over here. It should be fairly easy. Again, he does not have control. It's almost pitiful how easy I can take care of him. But every now and again, you have a good pilot that throws you for a loop, and you have to maneuver the throttle and all that. I'm telling you, the flying is the best part of this. Forget the ground combat. This is where it really is. This should have just been like a new Star Wars Rogue Squadron game. I really would have bought that. I thought that would have been really neat. I would have played it. Maybe I would enjoy an Old Republic add-on to this. Make it canon. Come on. All I want is one reference to Revan. KOTOR was my favorite game of all time. Well, one of my favorite games of all time. Just one little reference that would have made it canon. Or something like that. I think they scrapped an episode from the Clone Wars. All that. So this guy's actually flying pretty well. We actually have to go around and see if we can take him. And this one really tests your mettle as a pilot. He's really... okay, he's dead. Never mind. I guess his mettle wasn't strong enough. And I'm getting sidetracked. So, I learned a lot more about the Season Pass. So there will be a Season Pass for this game. You will pay $50 extra for a Season Pass. Okay, I'm dead. Yeah, a Season Pass. $50. But I think you're getting somewhere along the lines of 20 extra maps and 20 extra weapons. So in true EA fashion, the majority of your game, all your DLC maps will actually outnumber your regular maps, which I'm not happy to hear about. Because the core game comes with 12 maps, and the DLC will add 20. If I read the figures correctly, if I can remember off the top of my head. And I think that the it adds 20 additional weapons as well as additional modes. And, well, this is really par for the course. I mean, DLC, the fact that paid DLC right now is still has some place in gaming. It's a little bit strange because we saw that Destiny and Halo 5 are going to be getting rid of the paid DLC in place of cosmetic microtransactions. And yeah, that way, I mean, the reasoning is solid. It doesn't split up the player base. And here now you're basically going to, again, cause a bit of a bottleneck with your map. So here's a Snowspeeder. Not fond of the Season Pass. Won't really be picking that up if I decide to pick up this game at all. We'll see. I have to see more footage like that. So, for the Snowspeeder, you can see me here trying to activate the tow cable, failing completely and miserably. I don't know how or why. It controls completely different. It's more strafing than rolling and whatnot. It causes a little bit of a disorientation because of the mechanics being so different. I'm trying to take down this interceptor, but good luck. I don't see myself actually doing that or not. But the walker is so close. It's so close to being taken down, but it's also so close to destroying the shield generator This is the part where I was talking about where it was down to the wire, and I'm trying to loop around. Try to get as far away from the battle as possible and try to burn the clock. Myself here, I've stopped trying to take down the AT-ATs themselves directly, and I'm just going to wait for the bombers to come, and I will spam them. Although I did try one more time to activate the tow cable and failing completely. I think that the bombers should be arriving sometime around now. And I try to get my distance, because I'm trying to anticipate. Here they come now. I actually didn't realize this. Did you know you can actually shoot down the Y-Wings? And if you have air superiority, you can do that and save your walkers. So, just watch for them. Anyways, here we go. We lay right into them. And this is where I help out the team. And as it turns out, we won the game. We actually won as the Rebels. And if you have competent team members as well as air superiority, dead, you have a good shot. Anyways, that's how well I did here. Hopefully you liked this video. Keep an eye out for my next one because I have some stuff here you might find enjoyable. Anyways, see you next time. Bye-bye.